It is 6 o'clock on Wednesday, September 20th. We're in the Merrill City Hall Council Chambers, and I call this meeting of the Historic Preservation Committee to order. And item number 2 on the agenda would be consider approving the minutes from the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 9th meeting. Any discussion?
With the phone echo. Yeah, we're getting a phone echo here. We're just checking on that. Didn't hear me, though.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
It's resolved. All right. Any other discussion on the August 9th meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Item number 3, general agenda items. Discuss historic homes and buildings. Sub-item A, Legion Building. Update from Elizabeth McCrank.
Thank you. So I'm pretty excited about this. You'll recall that our search was for anybody who might have had a picture from the interior of the building of any event, preferably in living memory, since much of what's associated with the building is with people who are no longer around. So I am happy to say that I've got what I think will work. So I've got 4 pictures that I've selected that I think will work for the storyboard, and I'll pass them around so you get a good look at them. You go, Bill. The first one is of the building while it was under construction, and I have digital versions of these. The second one is of the first members. And as you recall, it was founded by World War I veterans and for them. And the Historical Society owns 3 of these 4 things, pieces, and their photo of those members actually has members' names on the back side of it. The third one is a ticket from a very typical event from the 1930s, which is a jamboree. That was held there in 1936. What I really like about that is the photo I finally managed to get from somebody. Nobody knows who this guy is, so if you want to recognize him, I suppose we should ask him if we can use his picture. But it's taken inside the bar, and anybody who was in the bar knows that at the very far end there was a giant moose head on the wall. So this guy is he's at the bar and the moose head is visible. It's kind of a dark photo when it's black and white, but somebody may recognize it. That is from a wedding reception in 1986, so it's exactly 50 years after that ticket for that jamboree was. Just sort of giving you a sense of the life of the building. Its construction, its membership for the American Legion, social events, right up through the 1980s. So I have all those available. Now the question is, Mr. Chair, what is the process for us now moving forward to get the storyboard done?
So we just have to submit, or you do, the final design to Premiere.
Okay. How do I do that? How do I find them? Do I email them?
They're located up on Helt Street.
Kind of a
Helt, H-E-L-D-T.
Exactly where they're at, yeah.
You're a member of the public.
no doubt a wedding.
Okay.
Yes, so they have a website that is premiercompaniesusa.com.
Okay.
And they have contact information right there at the top.
Okay.
They primarily do things that have nothing to do with us, that meaning components for car washes. That's their main gambit. But Darren Poggle did make contact with them after one of our last meetings, and they assured us they're still in the sign-making business and will make a sign for us.
Okay, and just give them the information they printed, they invoice the city or whatever?
Exactly, and they'll give you a draft to bring back to our next meeting.
Brilliant.
And then we can dedicate that come spring.
Excellent. I will proceed
Okay.
with the permission of the committee.
Absolutely.
Anybody recognize that guy?
On
The one sitting in front of the moose?
that one?
Yeah.
No.
I can take a picture and put it out there.
No. I have a question about this one.
That's a cool picture.
Is that in fact their charter members at a Legion when the building was built?
This is the earliest membership that is recorded.
Okay, I mean, is it, we don't know if was it labeled as charter members or earliest members or any label at all?
It's just got their names, I believe, We'd have to go back and check at the Historical Society. They own that photograph.
Okay.
And the members' names are written on there, and there may be some other inscription, but I think it's mostly just identification of them.
Okay, and therefore,
There is a list of charter members. There's a separate, and actually, I have a picture of that list. We could then compare that list once we know who all those people are. Once I add a caption, we could compare that list to see if it's the same set of people.
where I'm going with this is possibly, should they be considered for listing on that board?
On the storyboard itself?
Yeah.
Well, if their names are listed in the caption, that would essentially do it.
Okay, I mean, that's a idea, you know?
It is an idea, but the text is already pretty long.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, I submitted it a few months ago to
Okay.
you. Remember, you were the one who caught that it was the Ladies Auxiliary that disbanded, not the American
Right,
Legion
right,
itself.
yeah.
So it's kind of a lengthy text, but their names would be in the caption for the photograph.
Yeah. And, you know, I've been studying a bit also. The building's quite interesting. Also, one time in one Merrill publication from 56 years back, it shows this building as the Methodist Church. I believe that had to do with that's where they had their meetings at one time, okay? They probably held services there.
You know, a fledgling church will hold services wherever they can find a roof.
Yeah, that's it. So, you know,
It's
but
sort of like the arrangement now that the Presbyterians have with Our Savior.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's done.
Is it over with?
Mm-hmm.
Just goes to show how often I get up.
And the rifles shown here are M1 Grand rifles, and that may be the same rifles that still exist
I wouldn't surprise me a bit.
for sure.
That is an awesome picture.
Very good catch. The photograph detective
Okay.
at
Did-
operation.
You like these back?
Hello, group.
Yes.
Sorry, just a comment about the Methodist Church. The Methodist, unless there was more than one, and I don't know about that, but the Methodist Church building that is still in
That's
use
true.
now was built in the around 1890. So the Methodists, I don't think would have. Again, if it's the same Methodist Church, I don't think would have had any reason to meet at the Legion.
It's quite possible I could have picked the wrong denomination, but it was a church.
Where did you see that, Steve?
I have a collection of all the, the Merrill historical documents. I believe it's probably from that 1947 centennial put out by the Daily Herald.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I own that.
It shows all the churches on one or two pages in the,
Look and-
one is whatever name of the church is. Yeah, you could very well be right. It's not Methodist, but it was one of the main religions in there. The point being, that building has quite the history.
And the pictures are really cool.
Yeah.
Right? So they kind of, they show that whole process, especially since I've worked at construction part quite so much, like the plumbing. It's very innovative at the time. So that's my update
Okay.
on the Legion building, and I will move forward with that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No problem. So going forward, committee member Elizabeth McCrank will get a draft design of the sign from Premier and bring that back for approval here, and then we'll move forward with that dedication in spring. Sub item B, update on virtual historic home building tour with social media specialist Saval. I spoke with Sherry Wiki today, and they sent out, I want to say 10 letters, and maybe 12 and maybe 6, to potential private homeowners. 3 have been responsive. 1 was very responsive. Thank you, B. And they are looking at a spring project with that. But what I'm going to ask Sherry to do is touch base with those 3 people, at least 2 of them, because 1 might be here, and say, can you take pictures, if you don't already, fall pictures and Christmas pictures in and around your house, so when we put this all together in the spring, we can have kind of the dated material going back at what your house looks like in seasons. Again, this is a spring project. Our social media specialist, Saval, is on top of things, and she's also going to work with Nathan Meyer from Merrill community media to facilitate this. So once they start getting some of the homes lined up, they're going to start looking at some of the public buildings too and looking at that. One thing I did think of, I don't know how much they did with the old Masons upstairs, if that's been moved around since the Masons left or not, but I was always told that was an interesting building. But
It
anyway,
was still above Ace Hardware.
Hargraves, they have actually moved to
Oh, okay.
the Oddfellows building.
right next door
Yep. I just don't know what was done with
the
the
doors kind of
yeah.
between them.
So that is that. Hopefully we'll have an update with that very early or late winter, so we can kind of see a timetable on that. Anyone have anything on the historic home building tour?
Do you want that to remain on the agenda? Or you want to just,
This
Put it back on there later
we may
on.
go to call the chair, depending on after this meeting, or maybe after October. Okay, obviously, the Aware and Active Citizens Group was unable to join us today. We will put out another invitation to them to join us in October for our meeting, and hopefully they can. So for now, I will entertain a motion to lay over. Yeah.
Lay over to next month. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second. Motion made and seconded to lay over item C, discussion with the Aware of Active Citizens. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Site item, agenda area number 3, subsection number 2. Consider signage in Normal Park. Local troublemaker and my neighbor, Don Litzer, has brought forward an item to this committee regarding a much-needed signage in the city of Merrill, and that's to recognize Normal Park. And Mr. Litzer provided beautiful material, and I don't know anybody that would object to darn bit about this, so
I'd like to hear Don's thoughts.
I would like
if that's-
to grant floor privileges to Mr. Litzer.
Has
Let's,
everybody seen the letter?
It's in our packet.
It's in your packet, good, yeah. So-
Let me get-
So, yeah.
You got it?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so everybody can hear.
they can hear you on the live stream.
Is it on?
Yep.
That's good.
If you turn around, you get on camera.
I guess so.
If it's green, it's on.
It was free, it's on, okay. You can't hear it, okay. Hi. Anyway, yeah, of course, I worked at the library from '09 to 17, and had an opportunity to play with a lot of the old Merrill historical documents, including the Mawas, the normal school.
Pass that down.
And that picture that I showed you where those trees were just twigs came out of the 1941 Mawa. So I'm quite aware of, their history, and of course of the sidewalk, which appears to go nowhere.
And
obviously-
Mawa would be the yearbook of the Teachers College.
Yes, look at the Teachers College, the Lincoln County Normal School. That's correct.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure what MAWA stands for. I was hoping that Marie Ryan might show up and she might have some intelligence on it. It's an interesting term, and something that may have some utility here. But you've got those trees that now tower over everything in normal park, and it would be, I think, a fitting memorial, and a fitting memorial to the teachers that have worked here and made Lincoln County a better and smarter place. And of course, it was the only, as far as I know, the only institution of post-secondary education that existed in Lincoln County.
Actually, the Menard Junior College.
That's right. They're right. There was a junior college. Okay, and I don't know. Maybe the Tech had some.
I think the Sisters of the Red Cross had something. I've got a bunch of.
That was Menard Junior College.
That was that, okay.
College, yes. Okay, so one of the two institutions. And as far as signage, developing a sign, if we want to go the route that we were with the Legion building, I do have experience in designing signs. If anybody has seen the sign, there's a 2-arch bridge behind the library. I designed that for TV Scott Library, and if someone needs a hand with that, I can offer my services.
I'll take that as a no.
May I ask a question?
Please.
So do you envision the sign being out close by the sidewalk amongst the trees, or at the end of that sidewalk, sort of, so it's the destination point right in front of where the school used to be? What were your thoughts about where you'd like that to be?
Yeah, that thought did cross my mind a little bit. I think it would be very cool to have it at the end point of the sidewalk, so they could say, here's where the sidewalk seems to end, but here's where,
Education began.
history actually was for
Education began.
45 years.
So if we do it that way, then, Mr. Chair, do we have to consult with the Parks and Rec Department? Because it's really their territory once we move that far onto the property.
I would reach out to Chair Wendorf, to Department Head Wendorf, and see what his objections were, or what his bright ideas were with the sign before we move forward.
Cool. Great.
I'd like to see some sort of proposal going forward, not only including the Peaches College history, but of course that's our first courthouse.
Exactly.
And any other uses or any other history of the property that should be included in the...
One of those brought up was Bill Heidemann's athletic prowess that was down at Normal Park over the
Right.
years.
And the jail, of course, is on that block.
Yep.
Right. I was looking through some old photos, found this in the Merrill Advocate Souvenir Edition. This photo actually does show the jail and the sheriff's department behind the courthouse. So that's something which I think would be very suitable for publication or some sort of display.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Don Litzer to a committee of one to come back to us. Do you want to do early spring? Do you want to do...
That sounds good. If you folks are, if you're doing the next thing in the spring, you don't have to lump them all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and then fashion it, similar to our other storyboards around town, which you're familiar with.
Right.
And then we'd still have was it ever activated where you could take your phone and take a picture and get the verbal history on properties?
So that would then bring apart Hallie Saval, our media specialist, and the Merrill Community Media, who would then sit down with Don or whoever he chooses to record the oral portion of it. And you could sit on a lawn chair there, you can be whatever you want. And they would then drop your things and they would create the video, and they would be right on the QR code on that sign. So, yep, it would be all together.
Yep, so you need to work on the verbal video on that
Yep.
also. Right.
Draft a
Yeah.
script.
I'll second the chair's motion.
Okay.
Okay.
All those in favor of appointing Don Litzer, the committee of one, or whoever he wants to bring in with him, that's certainly, of course, our budget is very thin when it comes to salaries, but we appreciate your hard work and dedication. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Right.
All right. We look forward to hearing
Good
back.
work, John. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to hearing back from him come early spring or late winter.
And, please to contact Gus, the chairman, to get on the agenda whenever you have reports to give from now to
He has my email now,
Okay.
so our city
Right.
email, so we're good to go. Okay. All right. I think this is a no-brainer. I don't know why that wasn't done before, but we're catching up. Our final agenda item, number 3, discussion update on sign placement schedule, media coverage, and next steps. So those who were present last week, Thursday, we just put the sign up for Mother Anicia. I said it. I think I said it. Right.
Anacita.
Anacita. And we had a very nice showing there. Two of the, and I don't want, heads of the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother joined us from Switzerland. They were there, and it was a very nice crowd. We got some promotion out of it on the city webpage and Facebook page. So I wrote up a news release for Hallie. She put it out, and so they were very grateful. I was unable to attend the events on Sunday. I don't know if anybody made her down there or not. So that's where we're at. We have 2 more signs left. I did touch base with Rent-A-Flash. There was a communication error. They had sent me the draft for the sign for, yes, you can help me anyway.
Natalie Scribner?
Natalie Scribner. And they were like, well, we're just waiting for the approval. And I thought I approved it, so that should be done this week.
Cool.
So now it's a matter of getting together as a library, and I forgot to bring it up earlier, what they would like for a schedule, but we can get together with them anytime and dedicate that sign. I would like Lori to pick out a spot, or you can pick out a spot out front where you want it hung, and they'll do it quickly.
Cool.
And then the other sign is on November 11th. We just don't have a time yet. It would be the sign for Robert Russell Way, which would be at Spruce and 6th Street, and we'll make the committee aware of that before that happens.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, we are missing a sign yet.
no, we're also attempting to schedule another dedication for November 11th in the afternoon.
Okay.
So we need to coordinate that.
Okay.
The sign we're going to dedicate is for the, at the Merrill Cemetery at the main memorial, where we've got a plaque being made as we speak of the 250 Lincoln County veterans that died in service. It's being produced on stainless steel panel, and it'll be placed on the back of the memorial. The memorial's about 5 foot by 5 foot, so yeah, let's coordinate the time so we don't conflict
Okay.
with those two. And they're both military related, so
We can go to one and then do the other.
do the other, and we can arrange for the for the veterans groups to cooperate with the ceremony and media events.
Can I ask for some weather about mid-60s that day? If we're going to do 2.
Having attended most of the centennial celebrations over the years, it's normally pretty nasty weather that day. So we don't want to get long-winded speakers either.
Not like when we do the library one, right?
And then we did have the annual Warren one, which we're kind of putting off for 2024 because we just couldn't find a decent picture of that one.
And a reminder that the Cenotaph Memorial also is November 11th. That's always at 11 o'clock.
Okay, maybe we can go west to east. I was intending on bringing a very blank generic document here to this committee today, but obviously those who know, I was laid up this weekend. So I will bring to our next meeting a nomination form where people can nominate others for this spring for us to consider 5 more names for historic signs. Of course, we had discussed when we originally proposed this a $20 fee, and that was just to prevent serial naming and recoup some fees and pay for all the other beautiful signs we're putting around. Originally, we were told the street sign was about 20-some bucks. These signs are averaging about 60 bucks. So I don't think it's breaking the bank, but I'm sure whatever money our committee had has been spent elsewhere in the city by now. So that's where we're at with that. I think the media kind of got a little petered out with that, but they did hit it pretty good. And especially the police officer signs out here was the last one they were present for, and we really had a really good show for that. And if you weren't at that dedication, that was a really neat crowd. And they all came down here afterwards and enjoyed each other's company. So kind of bonded those 2 families a little bit. So yeah, I think it was very well.
Nice.
Any other discussion on our historic sign placements? All right. Our esteemed clerk has indicated the next date and time would be Wednesday, October 18th at 6 p.m. Are there any objections to that? B, do you think you'll be feeling better by then, or?
I certainly hope so.
Okay. All right. I will then open the floor up to any public comment. Any public comment, ma'am? No public comment. Okay. One more time for public comment. And hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will so move.
Second. Motion's been made and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
You know,
Thank
I
you.
never make motions to adjourn.